This is a gardening table owned by alleged serial killer Bruce McArthur. I'm Adrian Ghobrial. Today we're here in the backyard on Mallory Crescent. And today homeowners Ron Smith and Karen Fraser are taking us on a tour of their property. And they also wanted to share their story.
It was a rental property that my father had bought because I grew up across the street. And I basically moved in here to take care of my parents. It was easier than running back and forth from downtown.
This leaside property on Mallory Crescent has been in Karen Fraser's family for 40 years. For many of those years, it's been home for both Karen and her partner Ron Smith. Though on January 18th, their home, their sanctuary, was taken away from them and became the focal point of the largest forensics investigation in Toronto's history. This has been your home for so long. Feel like there was a time when it wasn't your home, that it was taken away from you?
Everything was taken away. You really do feel you are just out there, alone.
To see your home show up on the front of a newspaper, and they had a certain word for it, didn't they?
Yes, Hell House. Yeah, implying that things happened in the house. That's the one thing that bothers us. So many people mentioning that the murders took place in our house. It didn't. But the Hell House didn't help.
That's pretty personal stuff.
It is.
Also personal, putting their trust in a man for a decade who once alerted them of a break-in entry at their leaside home.
He was upset.
Terribly upset.
We didn't know why he was upset, but he was upset.
Now we wonder why he was so upset.
So we don't know. And it was a very odd break-in because, frankly, nothing was missing.
The remains of an 8th victim were discovered in the forested area at the rear of the property this summer, while the remains of 7 other men were unearthed from flower pots that once lined Ron and Karen's backyard.
We're everywhere, every corner. Some were ours, some were his, and there's 2 there that never got used.
How many planters would you say were back here on any given day?
Oh, probably 10, you know, smaller,
all in.
bigger.
Yeah, all in.
Back here was the ravine in the large area.
Come on over to the edge.
Yeah, they tore everything off here.
Postcards from the edge.
When they came back, they said, you know, we're just dotting the I's, crossing the T's.
You thought they were just coming back just to...
I think that's what they thought. And the first day they said, guys, the dogs...
We're going to be here for a while.
Right away they found remains.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Some over in the corner. What do the police call them? Items of interest?
Yeah.
Or everywhere. But mainly there. And we'll take you to the big problem place.
See, this was all forested before, this whole area. So what they cleaned, I mean, they cleaned out and cleared out a lot of stuff.
It's pretty vast, the area back here.
Yeah.
There's lots of land. Did you ever see Mr. McArthur back here?
No, because he has terrible knees. Like seriously, yeah. They used to give out on him regularly.
And ahead on City News, we will look at some of Bruce McArthur's personal items for the very first time that still remain here on the property and are waiting to be taken away. I'm Adrian Ghobrial. Earlier on City News, we took you for a walk through the backyard here on Mallory Crescent with homeowners Ron Smith and Karen Fraser. They showed us where plants and pots were found that had the remains of multiple men that police and forensics teams unearthed. Well, today for the first time, they also showed us some of Bruce McArthur's personal items, which still remain here today.
Yeah, we were constantly shocked by all the coverage of the garage because I kept saying, Ron, whose stuff is that? It wasn't ours.
Yeah, so the stuff that's in here, basically 3/4 of what's in here is Bruce's. Our stuff is on this side. The stuff from his gardening practice was over there.
And the stuff in here basically is all of his gardening stuff.
Yes, all of his tools.
And decorating. He did a lot of Christmas decorating for people.
You looking forward to having the stuff removed?
Oh
yeah.
Yes.
As this stuff comes out of the garage, similar to your backyard now being yours again, you'll be able to reclaim your garage.
Absolutely.
And there's still bags of peat moss there and
yes.
stones. It's like it was just left here the other day.
It's ready to go.
It's all ready to go, and that's it.
Time for it to go.
Time for it to go.
There's also a gardening table in the backyard that belongs to the alleged serial killer. All the items are supposed to be picked up by McArthur's family. Are you reminded of them when you're back here, knowing, you know, the tables here, having a few of the pots still here that were never used?
No, it looks normal. It just looks like, what on earth happened? Like that little table in the corner that a client gave him, he used to be surrounded by beautiful pots, you know, hanging with glorious arrangements, and now everything's just dirty and it's all mud and torn up. And
But we'll do it.
yeah, it'll take a while.
Little by little, but we will do it.
Yeah.
New sod has been planted where forensics ripped up their backyard. Karen Fraser and Ron Smith are adamant that this horrific incident hasn't changed their lives. Their thoughts remain with the victims and their families. Recently, they held a ceremony of renewal at their home for the neighborhood and those that helped them. At the ceremony, you had these bulbs.
Yes.
That you handed out to everyone.
Yes, so they could be part of the blessing, part of the ceremony, and then people return them.
Daffodils.
And daffodils, because, as I said at the ceremony, when I came out in the spring, what did we have here? Shredded yellow police tape and the yellow tops of the fuel they used for the generators melting the ground. And I thought, gee, some people have daffodils. This is what Ron and I have got, and we're going to plant them all over the property and send everyone an email with a photograph. If the squirrels leave them alone. We're being so romantic, they're all going to bloom. We'll see what reality is for the spring, but seriously, we'll send everyone a photograph of the flowers in bloom.
The name of the poem that gave Karen Fraser the idea to plant these daffodil bulbs is called I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. She says she'll be planting all 180 of these bulbs in the coming days. I'm Adrian Ghobrial for City News.